so great to see you here today at Thuja Hill. I'm glad to have you because we have a morning of gardening ahead of us. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the spring and early summer gardening that we've enjoyed over here at Thuja Hill. So you'll see the garden in May and then in June, and you'll see kind of the transformation that has taken place. So it's going to be kind of a garden update of sorts. So today we've got a job ahead of us. We need to harvest our soft neck garlic and also harvest some of our garlic scapes on our hard neck garlic. And so I've got my baskets. This is quite a small basket for the amount of garlic I planted this year, but that's okay, I'll make trips. So we're gonna harvest the garlic and we are going to hang it up in order to cure it for the next 4 weeks. I've also got some limelight hydrangeas to plant today in the landscaping. That should be fun. I love hydrangeas, specifically limelight. My goal today is to finish our mulching project. So that's on the gardening menu for today, and so I hope you enjoy what you see today. Don't mind my chicken, if you can hear her right now. She does that when she lays. She likes to make a lot of noise. It's been a really interesting season of gardening so far. We're in our 3rd year with these gardens, and the moles have moved in, so they have found my garden beds, which has been slightly disappointing. If I could go back and do it, I would put hardware cloth underneath all of my raised beds, but it's too late for that at this point. I have a goal this fall to take the soil out of all the beds and lay hardware cloth down and put the soil back. We've had a few issues with cats in the garden, which that's taken on a whole nother level of creativity in terms of trying to keep them out. We have sensors and alarms and netting. There have been more challenges to this year's garden, but like any other loved activity, it's been an opportunity for me to learn and rise to the challenges that I've been facing in this particular garden. I love gardening so very much, and so I don't mind doing it. There have been days where I have felt like throwing in the towel, but for a hobby as enjoyable as gardening, I don't think I could ever really do that. So on the days that have been hard, I have just walked away and prayed about it and come back with a solution to try to fix the problems that have been there. That's how gardening goes, right? It's constantly changing, things are never the same, and the goal is to continue to become a more proficient gardener as time goes on. So without further ado, let's take a peek at the early and late spring gardens over here at Thuja Hill. In early May, we enjoyed many overcast, cool days, which is perfect for the gardener. As you can see here, the garlic is coming in nicely, as were the onions, and I did plant out my seedlings in about the 1st week of May because the weather was so nice. During the delightfully mild month of May, we enjoyed plenty of daikon radishes and arugula, and as you can see here, our strawberry beds are just starting to come in. In the beginning of May, we also pulled up several of our root vegetables like radishes and rutabagas. And this time of year is when the roses really put on their first beautiful, glorious show. At this point in the year, the bugs haven't really had a chance to get to them yet, and it's honestly my favorite time. In late May, we enjoyed harvesting arugula and the radishes, and I ended up just taking it all out because they tend to get way too spicy as the summer months progress. As you can see here, several of my garden beds needed to be reinforced. I built these beds 3 years ago, and though many of them are still holding up just fine, there are some that have completely fallen apart. In the next year or so, I'll have to find a more permanent solution. But for now, this works fine. You might be wondering what I am doing here to this particular bed. I have designated this bed my asparagus patch. Last year I tried to plant some big box store variety of asparagus and it was a complete failure. I think the crowns were duds. They never sprouted, they were very dry, and they never grew. So this year I bought some local asparagus crowns, and honestly, after planting these, within 4 days or so, they were sprouting up and beautifully healthy. For an asparagus bed, you need to dig trenches, and that's what I did here, as you can see. It was a fun process. They actually look like little octopuses. I personally think asparagus are so beautiful. I'm really excited to have them as a perennial addition to this veg garden. And so the mulching project continues. Now this has been an ongoing project throughout the spring. We are at the end of May and the okra are coming in and the squash are coming in, and I've got lettuces. The hardneck garlic is just about ready to be harvested. Those scapes are showing me that we have about 4 weeks left. I did interplant some sunflowers, as you can see here with my onions. And those are always a pretty sight to behold in the garden. So now we are at the beginning of June, and on this day it was sunny and cool, and just a wonderful day to go out and do some harvesting and some gardening. So as I mentioned, today is the day to harvest the garlic scapes and the garlic. These little beauties smelled so good when I was harvesting them. Out of the scapes, I will make a garlic scape pesto, which I wait the whole year for. Here you can see the asparagus. It's just shot up. I love the way it looks. It kind of reminds me of cosmos. And you can see here the lettuce patch has filled in nicely compared to just a few weeks ago. Something we did different this year in the garden was added cattle panel in order to grow squash, watermelon, and loofahs. And as you can see here, I am just training the vines to get them to grow vertically. Like I mentioned, today is the garlic harvest day. This is a day I wait for all year. This year I planted a lot of garlic. I planted more softneck than hardneck. But honestly, I don't like being without garlic, so planting a lot probably wasn't a bad idea in the end. So now I am doing like I did last year, and I'm getting the garlic ready to cure in the screened-in porch for the next 4 weeks. So because I had far more garlic than last year, I have to tie bigger bunches together this year. I'm simply taking some butcher's twine and tying the tops together, and then making a loop so that I can hang them on the hooks in the screened-in porch. And now up they go, And what's really fun is that for the next 4 weeks, our screened-in porch smells delightful. And last but not least, at the end of my gardening day, I went ahead and planted my limelight hydrangeas. I have high hopes for these hydrangeas that they will bloom, and my hope is that they just fill out the space beautifully. All right, my friends, that is it. I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me for this little garden journey of early spring and the very beginning of June. As you can see, things have changed quite a bit since early May. Our garden is officially summer ready. We've got all of our transplants in, they're growing. We've only had a few casualties with some tomato plants, but that's okay because I always overplant anyway. And so I am ready. I'm ready for the high summer gardening season to come. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. And as usual, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in another brand new video very soon. Goodbye for now.